Hi, my name is Laura Fales, and I'm the Food Service Director for USD 320 Wamego. Along with the Wamego Public Library, we are so excited to bring you another summer series of cooks and books. Let's get started. Wait, Laura, you forgot to mention all of the ingredients of cooks and books. You're right. It does take a lot of ingredients to make cooks and books a reality. Thanks to the generous donations of food, time, and funds from these Kansas growers, producers, businesses, and organizations, we are able to provide 5 weeks of delicious recipes for you, our most important ingredient. Now we can get started. Hi, are you guys ready to get started? We're going to be making surprise muffins today. And boy, will it be a surprise. So, the ingredients that we need, well, let me back up. The first ingredient we need is clean hands. So if you haven't washed your hands in warm soapy water for at least 20 seconds, go do that right now, and then we'll get started. So the ingredients for our muffins are all-purpose flour, sugar, granulated sugar, baking powder, salt, butter, an egg, milk, and jam. You're getting today a jar that Grandma Horner's donated. So it's more than you need for this recipe, so be sure to enjoy that jelly on your toast or your biscuits as well. So the first thing that we're going to do is measure our dry ingredients into a bowl. So let's get that over here. Kind of clear some of these things out of the way. We need 2 cups of flour. And when you're measuring flour, you want to make sure that you're getting an even cup. And one way to do that is to use a knife to level. You can see how this one's not quite enough. So since I'm measuring out of kind of a smaller bowl here, I'm gonna add a little bit more using another cup, and then I'm gonna tap and re-level. Look at that nice level, there's 1 cup. By the way, the flour that you have in your bag is, that wheat is grown right here in Kansas, and it's processed right here in Kansas by Stafford Milling Company. They graciously donated 80 2-pound bags of flour for our program, and we are very excited to have that. Okay, there's our 2nd cup of flour. Now we need 3 tablespoons of sugar. So make sure that you have got your tablespoons and measure out. And this sugar you can just sort of shake and tap. 1, 2, oh, there's a clump. I'm gonna break that up a little bit. 3. Okay, and now we're going to add our baking powder. Baking powder is a leavening agent, and it is what helps the muffins rise. So 1 tablespoon of our baking powder right into our dry ingredients. And then we need 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And I happen to have this kind of salt here in the kitchen. Of course, you can just regular table salt works. And again, you can just shake it or tap it down so that it's level. So now we have all of our dry ingredients. So we're going to combine those in our bowl so that they're just kind of mixed up. Now sometimes when you're baking, you use a hand mixer to get things mixed together. This recipe doesn't call for that. Muffins tend to be the batter's going to be a little more lumpy, and it's not supposed to be super well mixed together like, say, a cake mix. We're adding 3/4 of a cup of butter, which is a stick and a half of butter. And I've been letting this butter soften at room temperature. You could also pop it into the microwave a little bit. You don't necessarily want it to be completely melted because you want it to add some oomph to your dry mixture. It's supposed to be kind of chunky. Is that a word you can use when you're cooking, chunky? Okay, we're gonna keep working this butter in. If you have a pastry cutter at home, you could use that to cut your butter in. Another way to cut your butter in is to use 2 knives and cut them in like this. If this fork was a knife, but you can use 2 knives as well. And we're just going to want to get this butter broken up enough and mixed in enough that there's a little bit everywhere. What a thing. All right, our butter is chopped in, and now what we're going to do is measure out our wet ingredients. So we're going to add, I'm going to put our milk, which we need 1 cup of milk. And the way to tell when you're measuring liquids is that you want to look at it when it's level. So on your countertop or tabletop, and I can see that I have just a little too much milk. So I'm going to pour just a little bit back in and recheck. And now we look great. And then I'm going to add our egg into my milk so that I can mix those up together. You can use a fork to whisk this together. You could use a whisk, but you just want to get that egg beaten in. And then I'm going to make a little hole right here in the middle of the dry ingredients. And you pour that in. And then you mix all of this up together. And like I said, it's going to be a little lumpy. That's okay. It's supposed to kind of look that way. You don't want to use a hand mixer for this recipe. You do want to make sure, see how I'm rotating the bowl so that I'm making sure that I'm getting all the pockets of our dry ingredient. You want everything to be moistened and mixed in, but not overbeaten. Okay. Is your batter looking about like this? If so, then we're just about ready to start filling our muffin tins. All right, I think this looks pretty darn good. All right, I'm going to move this just to the side so that I can get my muffin pan over here. If you are not using muffin liners, muffin pan liners, then you would want to spray your muffin pan with a nonstick oil. But I'm going to be using some super fun and colorful muffin liners today. So I'm going to get those put in. They make all kinds of fun colors and designs. So if you were making these for a special occasion, you could find some themed ones if you wanted to do that, for Easter, for 4th of July. So now what we're going to do is fill this about halfway full with our batter, and then we're going to put a little jelly in the middle. So let's start by putting, you really only want to have your muffin liner about 2/3 full. Remember I mentioned that baking powder helps things rise, and they will rise. So if you overfill your muffin tin or your muffin liner, you're gonna have muffin everywhere. And when it comes out and overbakes, then it can burn to the sides, and you don't want that. You want to eat all that muffin. So you would keep going like that, and we're going to use a 1/2 cup of jelly for all of these. So you don't need, you want to kind of measure that out. I think, yeah, our recipe just says 1/2 cup. So I'm going to just do a little dollop right in the middle of each one of these. Let's see if I can get them going. There we go. This is where I need a tiny little disher. I'm just going to do a couple of these so you can get the idea. There's our jelly. And then you'll go back through and top the muffin, top the jelly with just a little bit more of your batter. Remember what I said about not wanting to overfill your muffin tin so that it doesn't explode everywhere. Okay, so I'll keep going, and we're gonna fill all of these muffins with the batter. So batter first, then a dollop of jelly, then the rest of the batter. And then we're gonna put them in the oven at 425 and cook them for about 20 to 25 minutes. So I'll see you when they come out of the oven. All right, our muffins have come out of the oven, and now we test to see if they're done all the way through. If you've never heard of the toothpick test, this is how it works. You insert a toothpick into what looks like the least cooked part of your muffin, and if it comes out clean, your muffin is done. You can do this with cakes as well. And you can see that our toothpick is coming out nice and clean. So now we can remove our muffins to cool on a cooling rack. And hopefully these are gonna come out of here. You can see we've had a little bit of jelly run over, but I think that these have baked up so nicely and would be a great treat for breakfast or dessert, or just really any time you'd like to surprise your friends and family with surprise muffins. Thanks for cooking with me today, and I'll see you in the lunch line.